button. Let the strategies just fly. Go.
Hey, real quick, before we get started, I just want to can you do a quick screen share? Can I host real quick, Tiff?
You should be able to screen share even without host.
Yeah.
Honestly. Yeah.
All right. So I was perusing through Facebook, which I shouldn't be doing because successful people choose education over entertainment. At least I try to. And I came across a red jig. Does anybody know? And hopefully my tech savviness, does anybody know what a red jig is? No? Anybody?
No.
All right, so let's see if I can get this. This is what we call a red jig right here. See, look at that right there. That's the red jig right there. Oh, coach.
I have seen that and it was awesome.
Where are you, Red? Because I'm loving that thing, man. Whatever.
All right, Steve, if you're going to show that, I have one queued up to show as well. Kyle was over at the house yesterday. And
My God.
I'm so glad that that you got that for Red. When you're ready, let me share this with you because this is something that my wife shot and gave to me. I thought was brilliant.
I just need everybody to take this in. Let's do another 10 seconds of the red jig right there. I'm so jealous. I need moves like that. I tell you. Red, I love you, brother. If you're out there, let me stop, George. Hold on. All right, there you go.
All right, so this was filmed yesterday. A friend of ours, Stael, who you all know and love, was over at our house. And I think you can see this. Is that correct? I haven't watched this in entirety, but she figured out where I actually shoot all these and where I sit. So this was her mimicking me.
Folks, you can do this. It's on your mindset. You know, this is the best part of my day. Now go out there and tell somebody you love them. I'll see you tomorrow.
That's it. George, you're fired. Style. George, you're done.
I'm no longer needed. We turned it over to Stael. But I'm like, do I say folks all the time? She goes, all the time. She had such fun with it. Anyway.
That was epic.
Can
And
that
I'm
get
so
posted?
glad that we got that recorded on top of the recording because I need to see that all the time.
George, can you put that on my morning mindset?
I may just drop it in the chat. I should. I really should. Awesome. All right. So come on, back to serious. We'll cover this at the after party. Let's get on with it. We have a great day. We've got Steve Pooh and Laura McAdams, both of which, and obviously Mr. Rockwell's on the call as well. They said they're going to jump in. Tom's celebrating his grandchild. Awesome stuff. Super excited for him. And Laura and Steve are like, absolutely, we'd love to do this. And I think Christian's joining them as well. I am going to, guys, I'm standing behind you. If you need anything, I'm your go-to guy. I'll get it for you. Myself, Joe, and Tiffany, we're here to support you. I'm turning it over to you. Steve, why don't you lead it off, buddy?
Thank you, sir. It's kind of a free-for-all Friday. I'm going to try to make this, obviously it's about you guys. So we're going to try to pick Chris's brain. We're going to pick Laura's brain. Just real quick on Laura, year to date. And I didn't realize this, 8 closed so far, year to date, and 6 pending. So that'll be 14 units, if my math is correct, in the first 60 days. That's incredible. So we're going to pick Laura's brain a little bit, and then kind of, interaction is key. So anything we can try to help you with, any chokeholds on your business, anything you're struggling with, anything maybe that's working and working well, that you can share with the people on this call. So Chris, real quick, let's dig into those 6 that you've closed already. If you don't mind, where did those leads generate from? What does that all look like?
Okay, so wow. Okay, I can barely remember the ones that I closed now, and now you're asking me to remember where they came from. Okay, listen, imagine a bowl of spaghetti, you throw it against the wall and you see what sticks. That's what I do. I do absolutely everything George has taught me to do since a year ago. I do the open houses.
Okay, so let's dig into that real quick, get granular on that. Are you doing consistently? You're doing one every weekend, one every 2 weeks? What does that look like?
I haven't actually done one in several months. I'm doing one now on a new listing that I have coming up, not this weekend, but the weekend after, because there's a limit to my bandwidth. I'm considering whether to add people on a team, but I kind of went through realtors like Skittles not that long ago. I went through about 4 or 5 of them, and they just didn't seem to handle the clients the same way that I did, or that I would. And I don't know why. I don't really know why, but so I sort of like disbanded that idea. That was back in like November, and I just do it all myself. It's easier that way. It means I don't have to blame somebody else if they don't get it right or whatever it is.
What does your lead generation look like? Sorry to interject. What is your lead generation look like?
I have no idea what else to talk about. So yeah, my lead generation, open houses. Then what happened? Let me think. Okay, so a little bit of sphere of influence, knocking on doors. I actually got 3 listings from knocking on doors, which I did all the way back in, I want to say February or March last year. That generated
Christian, I got to ask on this one because this is important. So these are doors you knocked on 3 or 4, maybe a year ago, and these have turned into listings. And how come? They just kept your stuff, or did you kind of keep in touch? What happened with that?
Yeah, well, this guy, Tony, just called me, and he said, Christian, you're going to get a call from my neighbor. He wants to sell, and I gave him your card. And I said, okay, great. Thank you, Tony. And then the neighbor called me while I was putting up Christmas tree lights around my tree out the front of the house. And he said, yes, Christian, Tony said to give you a call. And obviously, Tony was the right person to have met. And so I went down, met with him, listed it, went coming soon on the 26th of December, and then listed it January 3rd, and we were under contract by January 5th. I mean, that was a piece of cake.
So these doors you're knocking. Sorry, Chris. These doors you're knocking, are they in your immediate neighborhood? Where were they?
Well, I'd probably knock on your door if I was driving through your neighborhood. I anywhere, any door that looks accessible to me, I knock on. If I'm doing an open house in the neighborhood, I'll go and I'll knock on their doors. If I go over and I'm doing, I'm helping someone do a final walkthrough on a property, I'll go and knock on a few of the doors.
There you go.
One listing I picked up because I was just showing property in a development. And I make a point of talking to all the neighbors anyway, just to find out about the development. So because that serves my client who's potentially going to be buying in there. And then if I can strike up a relationship with them, then great. I got a call from this woman's husband 2 days after doing a showing in that development. And he said, Christian, my wife told me I have to list my house with you. And that was it. So I don't know.
Okay, that really intrigues me. So that final walkthrough door knock, what does that look like? It's a final walkthrough for your buyers.
Hey, new neighbors, how do you do? I don't know, just whatever it is. But as George always says, it has to be authentic.
Right.
Okay. And then you talk to the neighbors. If the neighbors are out in the garden, I mean, I'm not saying literally walk up to every door and knock on it. It makes you look a bit crappy in front of your own clients. But I mean, if neighbors are there and you have clients that are moving into that place,
right, they're going to want to know.
It serves your client to meet them. So you function as like an introduction to everybody.
Gotcha.
I mean, and that way, can I get your card, or you give them your card, or whatever it is, and then they get to know you.
It's just taking advantage of those opportunities. Going back to
Tony, you're not going to get it immediately. It might be like in my case, it took a whole however many months later, almost not quite a year, but nearly 9 months, 10 months later, I get a random phone call.
Now going back,
I don't even have their details. Because I'm not asking for their details when I meet them, but I do give them my information.
Gotcha. Going back, and this is totally off the cuff stuff, guys. So we're just going to see where this goes. Going back to the Tony situation, was there any type of follow-up during that period? Any systematic? I mean, the guy just kept your number, remembered you, you made an impression, and then he had his friend reach out 6, 7, 8 months later.
About 9 months later, yeah. Or maybe even 10, actually 10 months later, yeah.
All right, we all need an accent like Chris, I think.
Hey, hold on one sec, Steve, because there's a question on this one. Christian, this was an open house you did where you were knocking on doors around the open house. Is that correct?
Pretty much, yeah. Yes.
So the evidence of success was your open house platform, because I know how you do them and they are a party, which is terrific. That was the evidence of success that Tony absorbed, kept, and said, this is the guy I want to talk to when the time comes, because he obviously is knowing what he's doing. What I'm suggesting is that
he made a comment, which it might be what you're getting at a little bit, but he did make one comment saying, Christian, you seem like someone who really cares about their clients.
Right.
There you go. Okay, great. Thank you. Excuse me for interrupting.
That was the comment. So how I transmit that, I can't tell you other than it's honest. I really do.
There's
and that's
some numbers that we've got to cover these real quick, Steve. So I'm going to jump in on this.
Yeah.
I put it in there. If you everybody out here, if you talk to 220 people, I don't care what you do, you can throw up on their shoe, whatever it is, you can call them a jerk and say, listen, you're a jerk. Do you want to list or buy a home? If you talk to 220 people, it will turn into a closing. Those are just the mathematics of how that works. It's a law of averages, but that's the case. When you get better at your conversations, and as Steve, or as Christian says, when it's genuine and authentic, that number can drop down to 30 to 50 people before you get a closing. Y'all get this. He's having conversations with a ton of people, and he is absolutely excited about what he does, which comes through very clearly. And like I said, he's not too smart. He's not too good looking, but that charming accent. So all of you, we should all take on the effect of going British or Australian, shouldn't we? You know, and everybody should have bad
terrible, George.
I was awful. I know that was. Anyway, but it's all contact. It's a context.
I'm stepping in. Stop picking on Christian, my friend. Let me tell you something. Hey, Christian, what is the name of your group? Christian, what is the name of your group?
Well, you came up with the name. That's kind of like me asking me what your children's names are.
The Brilliant Real Estate.
It's Brilliant RE Group. Yes, Fred.
Yeah, the Brilliant RE Group, because he couldn't use real estate in his name with the state. So when I met him and when we were bringing him aboard, I asked him some questions. I heard that he spoke 4 languages, and as he's talking, you know, he came out of the, management of the rental car business and stuff. And then he started talking about some other things. I said, this guy's brilliant. Or I forget how what it came up. I said, so as we were going back and forth with names and ideas for his Google business page and stuff, I said, Christian, you're a brilliant guy. How about brilliant? And then we turned it into brilliant. Yeah. So anyway, George, enough. Stop it.
Chris, go ahead, Chris.
See, one thing though, because the recording wasn't on, and I think the most important thing with Christian, he started it out and we didn't have the recording on, was definitely mindset, right? He said that, this idea of understanding it's not a sprint, it's a marathon, it's the long-term game. And that's his whole attitude. So anyway, George, no more, that brilliant young man there, you take care of him.
Chris, real quick, and I get granular with this stuff because I'm hoping it's going to help somebody, but the 3 that you have pending now, lead source on those, what does that look like, if you can recollect?
Okay, so we've got, what do we have? We've got Nilda, we've got one of them is in the same development where I had that other listing that I told you about with Tony that was closing next. Actually, that is Tony's place that's closing next
okay
week.
So that was a door
he
knock.
decided to sell as well. The other one is Nilda, and the one on Friday. Okay, so one of them was a referral from another agent down quite a ways down south. He's a part-time agent. He didn't have the time to handle these clients, and he says, Christian, can you help these guys get a rental? I said, sure. And then so I helped them get a rental. Well, they got denied by the association. And so I said to them, I said, look, just putting it out there, but why are you thinking of renting a place anyway?
There you go.
And when are you gonna stay there for more than 3 years? They said, yes. I said, well, look, that's $90,000 in rent you would have spent in 3 years. Imagine putting that into a home, even if the market were to dip or to go up, and that's speculation, and I know nothing about that. But $90,000, I understand, putting into something that you'll never get back. At least if you buy a place, you have a chance of getting it back. And they said, okay, let's buy a place. I said, all right, let's go find one. So I did. I found one that was off market. But well, I found them a place that was on market, but we didn't get that one because they're FHA and need all kinds of seller credits and all this other stuff. So I said, okay. So I worked the agent, the property manager, and the owner of that property that we didn't get because he happened to have 2 more properties in that development, and I managed to get them one off market.
So
So, and I was hounding the owner, who happens to be a pilot, and he owned 3 places in that same development. So I was just hounding him for this. I sent him an offer on the place when it wasn't even listed. I just said, you know, as his FAR contract, there it is. And anyway, he said, in the end, he said, yeah, okay, I'll sell it to you. And I got them a $7,000 credit, and the appraisal came in 10 grand shy. It was 350 was the offer, but I knew the appraisal would come in lower. But at least we got it appraised at 340, which is what the seller wanted.
Chris, real quick, I want to jump in real quick. So the lesson there, I think,
I'm giving you minutiae.
Yeah, the lesson there, I think, is going deeper on the conversations. A lot of people will get a rental call and just say, hey, look, we don't deal with rentals. You know, it's taking the time, maybe taking an extra 20, 30 seconds, having those conversations with the people, finding out, you know what I mean, their situation before totally discounting them. And that's what you took the time to do. And then you educated. People will make a new decision based on new information. So you gave them the information, and then they were able to make a new decision. So it's just it's taking the time to talk to people. So one of them was another door knock. One of them was an agent referral. And then the third one?
The third one came from Zillow.
Okay, so that was a Zillow.
Third one came from Zillow a number of months back. Zillow works very much the same way as an open house does to some extent, but because of my conversion rate, I have, I don't know, quite a high conversion rate. There's a lender that's actually paying for the major bulk of my leads that come from there. Now, you can either do it through Zillow. I don't like doing the other model. They offered me the flex model. You can also do it through realtor.com, but that's giving away 25, 30%. That's way too much money. So my lender probably spends about $2,000 a month on those leads that I get through them. And that's because I maintain a very high conversion rate. So, you know, whether they work or not, don't care, not costing me any money. I'm not obligated to refer those buyers to the lender. I made him buy me an extremely expensive lunch where I was able to explain that to him. But as it turned out, he partnered me up with someone who was actually great. Who's been incredibly valuable and very resourceful and very experienced and giving me tremendous amounts of guidance. So that's kind of working out. I'm lucky with that. I know George didn't advise this at the beginning. This is something I got from Fred, and I have to agree with Fred on this one. The person, I mean, this is to people who are new, like I am, to being realtors. Okay. Do get yourself a really good transaction coordinator. Get one that's also a licensed realtor.
Why?
You will learn more from them than you will from any mentor or anybody. A mentor you're never going to get on the phone anyway, and they're going to take a couple of hours to get back to you and all that. A TC is there immediately, cost you a couple of $100 and you're done. And you will, now my first TC was rubbish, but my current one is amazing.
Just so you know, rubbish means
without her.
Rubbish means garbage.
Correct.
So real quick, Chris, what you're paying per file for people that don't know, you just pay per closing, right? You're not paying a salary, weekly, nothing like that.
I won't tell you who it is because she doesn't have the bandwidth to take anybody else on. So find your own. But
she was licensed at one time, or she still is.
Still is.
Right.
Has been for 21 years. Yeah.
Okay.
So I learned more from that. Understanding the contracts, knowing all the ins and outs as the contracts go under. Plus, it takes my workload off of me.
Of course, you need to be doing IPA activities, not doing addendums and papers.
It's still hard. Once you have more than 6 under contract at any one time, like Laura, I'm sure will attest to, you're maxed out. You're exploding. You don't have time to build up new pipeline. It's very challenging. I hired an assistant. She lasted a week. You know, I'm trying to get maybe some other realtors. I'm trying to avoid the team thing, but I have more leads than I can possibly handle. And now in 2 weeks time, I'm going to do this ginormous open house and I'm going to get even more leads. And I don't know what to do with all of those. And the problem I have is that if I give it out to another realtor, they need to work as hard on these things as I do. And So
Always a challenge.
I need to find those realtors. If you know of someone that's got the chops to do it, shoot them over to me. But honestly, that's what I think the biggest flaw is in other realtors that I have observed, is they don't have the chops for it. They don't go for it constantly. Things get hard once you're under contract. They get so hard, it's uncomfortable. Extension dates are being extended. We need credits, otherwise this thing ain't gonna close. Lots of things happen, but what do? I think they turn their phone off and go to sleep.
Aletha Ruffin said she'd help you out.
Issues that have to be dealt with immediately and straight away. That's how you get lots of closings, I think.
Chris, real quick, because I want to jump to Laura here in a minute, and I know, hey, Aletha, get with Rockwell after the call. What was I going to say? Any type of marketing that you send out, direct marketing, or what does your database stuff look like?
Yeah, every time I have a listing,
okay,
I put out postcards.
What? Just listed 200? What are we doing?
Yeah, I do about 200 just listed.
Okay.
Cost me about $200.
Okay.
I do the whole thing. And then when we're under contract, I might do it depending. And then once it's closed, just closed.
Okay.
So I do those cards go out
consistently.
Who are you sending them to?
I'm sending them to people that are in the vicinity of the home that I have just listed.
Okay. And then what about database?
I'm sorry?
Anything database related, Chris?
I wish I had the bandwidth. I've been trying for months to get the bandwidth so that I could sit down and focus on my KB core, newsletters, sphere of influence, past clients. I mean, I sat down and I hand wrote every Christmas card at the end of last year to the people that I'd helped and the people that I was currently working with. So I did that, but I need to do a ton more of that.
Chris, I do have a contact that may be able to set up your KV core. I don't, price-wise, I think it's $300-400.
Yeah, no, I spoke to him.
Okay.
And I paid him, and he only did what I'd already done.
Is that Craig?
Yeah, I'd already done all that stuff. So that's not the point. The point is that I have to set up these templates to send things out to people. And I know that there are some people who are amazing at that. Emily Wenzelblatt, people like that. I know they're really good at it. And I just need to get with them to be able to do that. But I haven't had the bandwidth to do it.
Understood. Chris, listen, I thank you for your time. Anything in closing? I'm going to jump to Laura. Anything that you think will help these guys out? I mean, for being in the business for a short period that you've been, you're killing it, man. For those who jumped on the call late, Christian Rockwell, 6 closed already.
This is the only thing I'll say. So since May to today, what am I at? Like 40 closings or something, right? So, okay, marathon, not a sprint. Every time your phone rings, you answer it. Every message you get, you reply to it immediately. That is what you do. You're responsive. You work with your heart, not your wallet. Okay, and you're proactive with every client that you're working with. Like, for example, I have buyers now. I've heard the expression buyer's fatigue. I have buyers that I work with. Yesterday is an example. We were scheduled to look at a place last night. Then I got a message from the listing agent saying that place has gone under contract. Obviously, I let my buyer know. But what I did was I found another place for her to see. So I didn't just give her the bad news that that place we can't see. I found her another place for her to see. And then I took her to show her it anyway. You have to be proactive in getting in front of your clients.
Yeah.
And it's constant. And it's just hard work. So then you have to do it. And that's it.
Thank you, sir. Chris, once again, I appreciate you jumping on. I didn't give you any notice whatsoever. I think I reached out to Chris at like 8:02. Hey, Chris, help me out. I got a call. It's like, yeah, sure, no problem. So I appreciate you, man. Thank you.
Hey, Christian, I left you a text in the chat. I sent you a little message. Check it out.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Thanks for having me. Thank you.
Miss McAdams.
Good morning, everybody.
Good morning. So it might be a bit strange for me, George. Do you want to run with this one? Is that all right? So
Yeah, I'll start it off. So
Yeah.
first off, Laura, why Steve when you could have done much better than him?
Oh.
You want me to
It was
lead?
the accent, George. It was the accent that
The
got
accent.
me.
Okay, all right.
So incredible. 8 closed already year to date, 6 pending. We need to dig into that a little bit, George, if you will. Is that okay?
I'm leaving this to you. I've got, if you haven't seen it, there's a girl's birthday party going on back here. I'm going to monitor because I'm
I
actually
thought that
setting
was
stuff up.
I thought Jackie set that up for you. I wasn't.
No, sir. No.
Okay. All right. So tell us, well, if you can. I know this was kind of short notice for you as well, but I know you work your database and you evidently work it well. So what's business been like? Obviously, it's been well this year, but challenges, what's working, and take it away. I mean, of the 8 that you've closed, do you know lead sources on most of them? What does that look like, and what are you doing for your database?
Yeah, on most of them, it's been past clients that I've already closed that purchased and resold. And actually quite a few of them have been with a listing that I had from a past client and I sold to her. So she was my buyer, an agent in New York, built that relationship, built her trust throughout the transaction, helped her out as much as I could with my seller, got the deal done. And after that, she's like, I love how you work. She's like, I've got some clients that are going to be buying in New York soon. And she's already sent me like 3 or 4. And then I just got a listing from her listed last week, already pending for over asking.
So that relationship is huge. So go back a little bit. How did you make contact with that out-of-state realtor? Where did that come from?
She bought my listing. So she was
As a personal home.
My personal listing that I had.
So she bought it personally. She bought it personally. And then you built a relationship during the course of that transaction.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Wow.
So she's a big one right now. I get a lot of referrals from her. I believe probably 4 out of the 8 closings I've had are from her. So
wow,
buying,
that's huge.
And now I have a listing. So that's my 5th one with her. And now I'm helping him buy. So like 6 will be like 2 of the pendings right now are him.
Right.
So
is it safe to say that 70-80% of your business is referral related?
Yes. All of my business is referral related besides ones that I get from my listing calls. But everything else is referral based.
All right. So once again, it's back to building relationships. We know there's authentic relationships, but what are you kind of doing for your database systematically?
Systematically with my database, I call them at least quarterly once. So I call 2 or 3 clients because my database isn't really humongous. It's only maybe like 100 clients that I have because a lot of them bought consistently or sold with me and bought. So just calling them, saying hello, touching base with them on Facebook. Obviously, I've gotten myself out on the community quite a bit more this last year with some of the stuff I've been doing with I got involved with the school board meetings and things of that nature. So I met quite a few people there and I've been getting some referrals from that. It's just getting
email touches. What are you doing? Pop buys, anything like that?
I don't do a lot of emails because I just don't feel like those are very personal, but I do a lot of surprise pop buys. Like I'll just drive by their house and drop off a little something. I send out postcards with recipes, something a little bit more individualized, not real estate related always, because at the end of the day, they know I'm a real estate agent. They know what I do for work. I can tell you my database is very loyal to me. They even call me and tell me they get a piece of mail from another realtor. So that's how much I actually am in touch with my database because of everything that I do for them. And during holidays and Thanksgiving and things like that, I personalize a lot of small gifts. It's not something huge that I'm spending a ton of money on, but just the meaning of the gift and having it dropped off because I don't have enough time, but I hire someone to drop it off for me. So then that way they're knocking on their doors saying hi and letting them know that I'm dropping off a gift.
Give me an
So
example of maybe something recently that you've done.
I do. I have something actually. I brought it out. So this is what I did for Christmas this year. It's just a little baggie. I got them from Hobby Lobby. A Christmas card that I stuck in there. And of course, there's a lottery ticket inside. So that was a little bit of an idea I got from you. And then I also use a lot of I try to pull up local people that have small businesses in town.
Well, that's another way to build relationships, right?
Absolutely, I do, because now I have a contact for her. She and I are very close, and she made me cocoa bombs for Christmas. So she included her business information. So not only am I helping my clients and giving them something cute and small, but I'm also helping a local business in town. So I build that relationship with her. And then, you know, I've had a couple of them buy from me and then also list their home. So I also had these small little cute ornaments made. And then I include my little personalized pen, just something small, quick, easy for Christmas to be dropped off at their door. And it's just for the local clients. So anybody in St. Cloud, I make sure that I drop off something for Christmas. And for my mailaways, I mail them away a card. And I include a small little gift as well with their cards, because the program that I use is AM cards, and they
Is
have
what?
little
We missed that. Sorry.
AM cards.
AM
cards.
Okay.
Mhm. They
Okay.
have little gift selections and things that you can include in the card. So I do a lot of that. And kids, for me, kids too. A lot of my clients are families, Hispanic families, and they're very about their kids. So I always include something for them because that's more important than, of course, the adult. So
Nice. So you'll do, when you do drop offs, you may do a drop off for kids within the family, like a little added thing.
Mhm.
And then how are you tracking all this? All through KV Core? So you'll make notes in KV Core, or how you?
No, right now I have it as an Excel spreadsheet. Leslie kind of keeps that for me, but I'm implementing all that into KV Core so that I know that I've done it. And then every time I do a drop off, Leslie keeps track of it. She's my assistant. So
Do you
that's
use
how
a
I keep track of
TC?
that. I do. I have a transaction coordinator, very helpful. If I don't have her, it's like I'm on a deathbed. Because like Christian Rockwell said, having so many transactions at once, you're not really be able to keep track of all that paperwork and also pay attention to the client the way that we need to. So for me, I'm very in touch with my clients. Authenticity and being genuine and showing that you actually care is what works. I don't know how to tell anyone how to do that. It's just, for me, it comes naturally. That's who I am and how I treat everybody. For me, it's the same thing as if they're buying a $150,000 home, if they're buying a $500,000 home, I'm going to treat them all the same. To me, it's not, oh, you're better than them because your house is more expensive. You know, everybody's the same. Everyone's a human being. They all want to know that their realtor cares and we're here for them. So at the end of the day, that's how I get a lot of my business. It's just touching base, calling them, saying, hey, how are you doing? Is there anything that I can help you with? Do you need anything for your house? I have a list of vendors that we know and we trust. And if they do anything that you don't like, please let us know, because we'll get them off the vendor list, because we don't want anyone working with our clients that aren't treating you the way that I treat you. So they love and appreciate that. And they always say thank you. And if I don't hear anything from them there, I'll hear something a week or two from now. And then they'll say, hey, I have somebody that I need you to help buy a house. And I'm like, okay, great. Send them my way. And that's just how it works. It works every time.
I know Chris has his hand.
May I say something?
Yeah, go ahead.
Laura, you said something that I was about to say before, but I didn't get a chance to do it. And you just said it. These realtors that have it in their mind about not doing something under a certain amount of money. I mean, that's fine. It's more work for me, but it's beyond stupid. Beyond stupid. You know, my goal is to have 150 clients served in 3 years. If 100 of those clients really like me, I'll never have to try and get any business ever again. Okay, that's my goal. And Laura hits the nail on the head. You know, the people with the 150 or 200,000, they need our help more than the $600,000 or $800,000 property. Plus, there's a sweet spot, which is what I found. There's a sweet spot that you can get in this market, and it's not as competitive to buy the house. The $500,000-$600,000 home, people are having to pay $50,000 over asking and all this other nonsense. By that point, I could have done 6 or 7 $300,000 places, and I'm done. Thank you, Lord.
Yeah, there was some stats recently that the amount of transactions, $1 million plus, is up 32% year over year. When you say that sweet spot, Chris, now everybody's going to want to know. I mean, your market's different, you're down south, but where is that sweet spot?
Well, I find the sweet spots anywhere around about between 2 and 500,000.
Right.
For me, in my market, you know.
Gotcha. All right, so we all know this market is challenging. It's especially difficult to get buyer offers accepted, as we all know. I mean, anybody, and if anybody can chime in, anything that maybe you're doing that's working in terms of getting offers accepted, maybe any chokeholds on your business that you're struggling with that you need help with. So I don't know if anybody has any questions, if I can open it up for questions real quick.
Well, Steve, I just want to say that, because I just jumped in because I got to run, that the one takeaway that everybody should get from what happened here, and it was said consistently by everyone who shared today, was you have to care. You actually have to genuinely care about your client. Forget about your wallet and start thinking with your heart, I believe is what Christian said, and you will be 10 times more successful. It's what we preach all the time. You always need to be contributing. You come from contribution and from genuine sincerity, and people will remember that. And that's what sticks with people, not mailers or pictures or, they come and go. It's the genuine sincerity that you bring to the table that is what keeps people coming back.
100%, 100%.
Everything else will follow. The moment a commission check becomes more important than your customer, you've lost.
Yep.
Hey, Steve,
agreed. Have a great day, guys.
Thank you, John.
To piggyback on Jonathan, one of the things that is really important for everyone to take away, what's really interesting, if you really study what Christian said and Laura said, there was very little about skill set. First, it was mindset, then it was will set. Then the skills they went out and got. Christian got some from his transaction coordinator. Once we get that, there's not a production to perfection. You got to be productive to get perfected. You can sit in classes all day long, but if you don't have that mindset first, Christian started out with that about the marathon, not the sprint, and then that was the mindset, and then the will set. I've got a goal of 150 people in 3 years. That's a will set. Okay. So his will drives him. And he also used a word in the beginning of, what was it? Tenacity? No. What word do you use, Christian?
Grit.
What was it?
Was it grit, Fred? No,
I think I used a lot of words, Fred. Persistence, determination.
The fact that you don't give up, and that's the will set. That's the will set. Everyone stop thinking. You have to figure out KV Core. Here, Christian's done 20, however many closings his first year. Well, how many, Christian? First year? How many?
I don't know. I'm close to 40 at the moment.
Yeah. So, and he's talking about he doesn't even have his KV Core straightened out yet.
Well, it's getting into action, isn't it? Is what it knows. What is it? Something execution trumps strategy every time. Yeah, so it's executing.
But there is something to be said, and I'm very conscious of it. There is something to be said about a sustainable workflow. What I do is not sustainable, not even for myself. So that's where things like the KV Core, automation, getting more people to help me, things like that, those are important, because otherwise I'll end up without a life, without a wife, and my heart will stop beating one day.
Leverage.
That's not healthy. So what I do is not sustainable long-term. So Fred is absolutely right. And as is George, got to put the KV Core to work, got to put these other things to work. And I just need the bandwidth to be able to do that. And that's it.
I'm going to make an observation real quick on this one. Christian, if you'll allow me to coach you, your business needs to evolve into where Laura's is. And she is now working very sustainably inside of the database of people people that love her very much. And that's where you need to be too, because they love you as well. And I'm sorry, this is my AC guy, and we've got a party here, so he's my priority, and he's also my partner forever. Love you guys. I'm pausing for a minute.
All right, George, thank you. Anything in anybody have any questions or anything we can try to help you with in terms of challenges in the market right now, anything like that?
I'll ask a question on that.
Oh boy,
Maybe
watch
y'all
out.
can help with these bidding wars. So I learned the appraisal gap. I learned the escalation clause. I've got an offer even now going with both of those things. And it seems like I'm still losing. We're going 50,000 overpriced, 25,000 gap appraisal. What else can I add?
Go ahead, Chris, jump in there.
Okay, so there are a few realities that you have to accept, bro. The first reality, and you have to accept this, but you also need your client to be educated and aware of this before you even submit the offer. Okay, this is the game. We need to stay within your comfort zone, whatever that might be. Then the trick number 2 is you have to build a relationship quickly, effectively, kindly, and fun. There has to be a lot of fun in it with the listing agent on the other side. You have to build that relationship where they look forward to getting your text message. They look forward to getting your phone call. That is going to make a tremendous difference. It might not work for you, but it's going to say, this is a person I want to work with.
Yeah.
Okay. As long as you let that land, then the rest of what you do, I mean, I have had a listing agent tell me where I needed to be in price.
Yeah.
It has happened by building a relationship.
Yeah.
Now, some will be very to the rules and they can't tell you because we can't, but they will certainly give you an indication like, Christian, what's the offer before you shoot it over? And then, you know, but that all comes from the relationship. If you're just sending offers off without creating any of that relationship, then it's definitely.
No, I get the relationship side. I've had the good agents that will help and persuade, and then I've had the other agents that don't want to give you any kind of information and do stick straight to the rules. I've had both sides.
Well,
I mean, Deborah,
everything right. So
yeah, Deborah, one of the things Christian is saying is it took the words out of my mouth, is that I just helped someone, one of our own agents, relocated here from Las Vegas. I didn't know it, but he had lost 5 houses. I saw him in the office one day with a long face. Well, he got his 6th one. And the way we got that was the number one, what Christian was talking about, calling, schmoozing the listed agent, having some fun. And then we didn't submit the offer until we met her outside the house. I had him meet her outside the house to deliver the offer sealed. I said, hey, this is going to be so good. I want to seal it. So the other thing is the strategy. I said, hey, just tell me what the seller situation is. Oh, well, she's going into an assisted living. I said, oh, okay. So right away I thought, boy, convenience is probably going to be real important to this lady. So you gotta do everything for the seller. And I tell everyone, do not put a closing date in there. Put a closing date in there. The closing date could be no sooner than 30 days, but at the seller's discretion, no more than 120 days, depending upon the needs of your buyer. And the seller has a right at their own discretion to remain in the home 30 days after closing. If it's a real competitive situation without any rent, you just sweeten it, where you're appealing to the emotions as well. So you just do everything you can for that seller. It's a seller's market. So you serve them with everything you can serve them. And of course your buyer has got to, get on board like Christian just said, but you got to have information and you got to have that relationship that Christian just nailed. And the other thing, having fun, the one house that he got, the 6th house, when I talked to her, I didn't say, well, I want him to meet you. I just said, hey, it's going to take a couple hours to get it. What time are you presenting the offers? Oh, I'm going to go over there. So I listened. I'm going to go over there at 6 o'clock. I said, oh, okay. Yeah, we'll have it right around 5:15. Matter of fact, he'll meet you right outside the house and drop it off. He doesn't want to see the seller, of course. And I really don't want you to see it ahead of time because you're going to be shocked how great this offer will be. And she laughed. Oh, yeah, okay. Because she had a bunch of offers. So upon leaving the office for him to go present it, because I helped him write it all up. And I said, wait, what else can we do? And so I grabbed the envelope. Over on the back of it I put a big heart. I said, this offer is sealed with love for this family and for the owner, or whatever it was we said. And she called him and she said, Ryan, congratulations, you got the house. And I'm going to tell you what sealed the deal. It was that heart on the back of the envelope for the owner. I knew she was elderly, you know, so.
Sealed with love.
Yeah, there you go. Oh, there's Ryan there.
Hey, Deb, there's another way to do it. Aside from everything that they're saying, which is absolutely right, we know that people are going to drop $500 easily on a home inspection, up to $1,000, depending on what they're doing.
Right.
If they're committed to this, so why don't put up a $5,000 escrow and $1,000 of it be non-refundable? That says they're completely and absolutely committed to this. They're not just throwing an offer in and going to back out. Sellers are greedy, and they're all thinking, well, if they walk away, that's $1,000 in my pocket. Gonna spend it anyway.
Yeah, that's good stuff. Let me get clarification on that real quick, Rob. So you 5K deposit, 1K non-refundable. They pay for the inspection. They decide, but then they're paying the $1,000 for the inspection. They decide they want to back out. They're still going to lose that $1,000 though, correct? What am I missing?
Yeah.
We lost you. You're muted.
Steve.
Yeah.
We know that if we have a buyer and they secure this home, the first thing we're telling them is we're going to inspection 5 days, 7 days, however fast we can get there.
Right.
That's going to cost them $1,000, right? No matter what, it's going to cost them $1,000. But we've got to secure the property. So why not say 1,000 of our escrow deposit is already non-refundable? We're trying to seal the deal.
Gotcha.
It's
Understood.
competitive.
Yeah.
You're greedy.
Yeah. That's pretty
They've got to be able to afford to do that. And, you know, there's a lot of buyers out there, Deb, that can, and there's a lot that can't. But it's just, you got to start playing with ideas here.
Yeah, a lot of us are waiving inspections. I know that, but that is something that we can use in our arsenal. I want to go back to Fred real quick. Fred, if you're still there. So you are writing this thing up. You're saying 30 to 120 days whenever your seller wants to close. You're putting in there that if they want, you'll give them 30-day post-occupancy. That's good stuff, man.
Well, yeah. And the thing is, I mean, he was putting mortgage conditions in because the advice he was getting, because his wife owns a business, wasn't sure whether they're going to be able to get a mortgage. But when I looked at his finances, I lined up a private loan. I knew I could get him a private loan. I have private money lenders that I know what I can and can't do. So I said, Ryan, what are you doing? You don't need a mortgage condition. I said, your greatest risk is you're going to lose your 50 grand. And by the way, I don't put up any $1,000, $10,000, $15,000 deposits. I go in with 50,000, you know, at least 5% of the purchase price up front and another 5 to follow. And they had enough cash and assets. If they got in trouble with a conventional mortgage, I could get them a private money loan for 6 months, but they didn't need it. I knew it was going to work out.
Gotcha.
And it's not comfortable necessarily. Here he's in the business not that long, but he and his wife, the inspection, because I only made the inspection 2 days because I knew I could get a home inspector if I had to bribe them or whatever I had to do. Made the inspection 2 days as is. And right an hour before the inspection, they started getting nervous because they sure wasn't about the loan. And they called me one more time. They were ready to send a cancellation. And Ryan, I'm not, you could jump in here because it was a lot of information here. They're professionals. So you got to be constantly in touch with them, be available. And I said, Ryan Rowe, wait a minute. Because see, I believe everybody's job on this phone is not to get people to make decisions you want to make, is to prevent them from making decisions they'll regret. And I don't hold anything back when it comes to that. I said, whoa, hold on 1 second. Well, we'll lose our 50,000. I said, you're not losing anything. I said, if you make that decision, you pull this deal, you will regret it. You'll be out looking at another 6 houses. You'll be homeless because they were in a rental. You're going to be home. You can't do that. And so you got to get the buyers on board. You got to get them on board and let them understand the seriousness of the situation. And they've got to do everything in their power. And you've got to reach out to other people like Deborah, reach out to people, private money lenders. So your people are backed up so they don't have to put more mortgage conditions in. I have people right now not putting inspection conditions on, as is.
Brian, I'm with you, but hold on one moment. Deb, I hope some of this is helping you. Offer sealed with love in an envelope. I love it. how did you get to the point where the agent offered up that they were going to the house to present the offers and you intercepted them? What does that look like real quick?
Oh, you talking to me?
Yeah, I was talking to you, Fred. Sorry.
Oh yeah. Well, I just listened to the conversation when I talked to the listing agent. I said, hey, listen, we're going to be working on this. I didn't say, yeah, I just wait. I want information. So I said, we're just going to be working on this. I wasn't going to tell her when. And that was, I think, 1 o'clock, whatever we were working on it. She says, oh, I'm not going to be presenting until 6 o'clock. I'm going over there. That's why I said, oh yeah. And right away I said, strategically, I thought, I don't want her to have my offer in case she gives in to somebody else and she'll know what it is. Cause I had an escalation clause in there. So I said, well, we got some things to work out here. I said, we're going to have it before you get over there for sure. Matter of fact, we're right down the street. I'm going to have Ryan drop it off to you. That's awesome. Just hand deliver it. He'll meet you right in front of the house at 5:45. Is that okay? He'll get there a little early. If you're running behind, don't worry about it. He'll be there. He's just going to hand it to you. Don't want to see the seller, of course. And hand it to she said that would be fine. So she didn't get a chance to review my offer. She didn't know what our offer was till she sat in front of the owner, opened it. And the other thing, Deborah, real important, you got to have a summary cover letter. Hey, this offer is 1, all cash, 2, inspection only 2 days, 3, the seller can stay as long as they want, up to many days, rent free, 4, boom, boom, boom. And so they sit there and they go, wow, they look at the seller, because a lot of agents aren't doing that. They aren't doing that.
Yeah. So if
Funny you mentioned that, I actually just added that to the one I've got in now.
Mm-hmm. Good.
Summary letter. Okay. Fred, if you get a chance, could you drop what you use, the summary letter? Do you mind later on? Maybe
Ryan has it. He can I don't know if you can find it right on your computer and post it. And the other thing I did a letter from them, which, in Florida, blah, blah, blah. But what am I going to go to jail? I just
Ryan,
said this
do you mind dropping that in, Ryan? Just, it might help somebody out. You know what I mean? Maybe just drop it into workplace. I know you're muted. Is there anything you wanted to add, Ryan, real quick?
And if it wasn't for Fred, we would not have a house. Seriously. I mean, we called him literally right before, and I said, Fred, we're thinking about jumping out. He's like, no, you're not. He goes, if you do that, you are going to be homeless. You are going to be in the jungle. Do not go back out in the jungle. I don't care what you do. It's like, we got this. And if it wasn't for Fred, we would still be in that rental. And I thank Fred so much for this. I mean, he got us this house, Do
you have that? You can post it. Can you find it on your docs and share that the contract in the cover letter and stuff? And the summary. Yeah.
Okay. If you can, Ryan, or I'm going to type in my email address, share it with me if you don't mind, and then I'll drop it in the workplace. Maybe somebody can benefit from it. Deb, I hope that was helpful. Anybody else? Because I got to jump off shortly. Anybody else? Any questions, challenges, anything we can help with?
Yeah, Robert said that the love letters can get you into serious issues. A heart written on the back of an envelope. I would love to go before a FREC committee and talk to them about that. Number one. The other love letter about the sellers is don't let them write it. You can write for them. Say this is a very nice family. Blah blah blah. I for 45 years, especially people. They'll come up with, oh, you can't do this, can't do that, can't do this. And believe me, I haven't stayed in this business 45 years without ever, being called before the real estate commission or complaints or anything else. But, sometimes business, you gotta do what you gotta do. And I'm not going to break any direct laws. And Robert, you're right. I know what the Florida Real Estate Commission says, but there's a way. You're not going to, I promise you won't go to prison. How's that?
You can't always stay in between the lines.
I'm going to warn everyone, because there have been people that have been brought up on federal charges for housing violations and around the love letters. It's getting a little bit serious. So I like I said, the heart in the back, great idea. Writing something or delivering something. I'm just going to say that's one of those third rails of real estate right now.
And the reason is, and the thing behind it, I'm glad you brought that up. Is because guys see the thing behind, and this is where you got to be strategic and smart and use logic, because when you think about it, what they don't want to do is paint a picture. Oh, this is a beautiful white family, whatever, and so it's all about, oh, they're a family or they're this or they're that because of HUD and all this other stuff. But when you write it, you just are writing as from the agents, just saying, hey, I've really enjoyed working with this couple. They just relocated from Las Vegas. They really loved your home, blah, blah, blah. Just keep it brief. Most of the power wasn't in that. It was the strategy ahead of time. It was the summary sheet. It was making the seller's life so convenient they could stay there after closing. We just did another one, a 1,000,001 this way. And we wind up doing an EXP in the house. And the agent that originally submitted the offer wasn't getting this. Well, wait a minute, my buyer doesn't want to have a non-contingent loan. And whoa, wait a minute. Let's talk about your buyer's finances. So it's all these things. And Robert, I'm glad you threw that in there because I don't want to send out the message, the violate HUD rules and all that other stuff. So see what we sent there, and we'll continue these conversations because it's serious, folks. You've got to be smart to work with buyers today. You've got to be really smart.
Fred, that was some good stuff, man. I appreciate you. Thank you, sir. Anything else in closing? I hope this helped everybody. You guys have a wonderful, awesome weekend. In the words of George Philbeck, go out there and compliment somebody. Magnify their strengths, not their weaknesses. Okay?
Everybody should say to yourself right now that you're amazing, because you truly are.
All right, guys. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you.